but we're going to talk a little bit about some of these games you might not have seen. So I'm going to come to you first, Alex. What are some games that we might not have checked out this weekend?
For me, the big one, I've told you multiple times, this was my favorite game of the weekend. Vanderbilt and Virginia Tech in Nashville. Went to overtime, absolute barn burner. Phenomenal game. A guy we've praised for a long time, as long as I can remember with doing these shows, Diego Pavia, left New Mexico State, came to Vanderbilt, and I mean, all he did was be their leading passer and leading rusher. Like, the dude killed it. Phenomenal game against a team in Virginia Tech where me and a lot of other people have them as a sleeper to potentially win the conference.
I was on board with that.
This is a team that's going to win 8, 9, maybe even 10 games.
Yeah.
And Vanderbilt took care of business. And the defense looked good. The offense looked good. Like this, I think this is the best we've seen Vanderbilt since James Franklin was there. And I know it's one game, but this was, to me, what Clark Lee's built. And like we said, it takes time. Year after year after year, build it up, get your guys, do what you want. He took over control of the defense again. And it was good. It was really good. Don't know how good it's going to be in the SEC. We'll have to wait and see. But I mean, you look at it. I think they beat the brakes off Alcorn State here. I think they beat the brakes off Georgia State. Obviously, you're going to lose Missouri, Alabama, Kentucky, Texas. But there's
Ball State could win that one.
I think this is the team that I think it's realistic for them to be expecting to be in a bowl game. Yeah. And that's a tough schedule. They got to go to Auburn. They got to go to South Carolina. Like, there's some very difficult games in there. But it's hard not to believe in what Clark Lee's building there. That was a phenomenal performance by Vanderbilt.
And I mean, and to your point, they jumped out 20-0 on these guys. I mean, I was in the group chat talking to you guys like, yo, what Vanderbilt team is this, man? So like you said, Clark Lee having those guys motivated. We know a couple years ago, he said this could be a national championship team and everybody gave him crap for it. But to your point, what he's building year by year. Yeah. And then to bring in Diego Pavia, one of the great things about that is that they switched that offense to the offense that he ran over there. So the things that he's doing, he's familiar with what's going on. And you see that he's a leading passer, the leading rusher, man. And not to get too ahead of myself, but my game ball, because that's our guy. But I love that he has now found a home out here in the SEC. And Virginia Tech, to your point, is no slouch. The lights were not too bright for him. And even when they came back, they had to rely on him to keep it done and get the win in overtime. So, yeah, I was so excited to see that one. Another one that you and I talked about, and this was more just to see what this guy was going to do, Nebraska, the quarterback.
Dylan Raiola,
Yeah, Dylan Raiola, man. I wanted to see what he does. Obviously, he wears the number 15. His favorite quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. He's trying to follow him. You can see the hair. It looks the same.
Yeah.
Hey, look, he was as advertised. I mean, Nebraska put up 40 on UTEP, and he came, and I was not disappointed. What were your thoughts when you saw him?
It was better than I expected. I thought 18-year-old kid, yes, it's UTEP, but that's going to Nebraska with the history and everything there. That's a big environment. That's a tall task for an 18-year-old kid to walk into that stadium and be what everyone's kind of viewing as the savior, right? Like this is their guy, this top recruit. Let's build this thing back up. And he exceeded expectations for me. Like, I mean, you look at it, 19-27, 240 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. That's a really good performance.
Yeah.
Against UTEP isn't a slouch. That's a solid group of 5 program. And he handled business against, I mean, we've seen the last few years and it hasn't been good. And especially the quarterback play has not been good. And he comes in and he's probably the best quarterback they've had in 5-10 years.
Yeah.
Since like prime Adrian Martinez.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like this is a good sign for Nebraska. Really good sign. This kid can ball. and he's doing it early.
Yeah, and it's what's needed. I got a buddy that's a Nebraska fan, and he has been waiting for this. I mean, an old school Nebraska fan, the days when they were winning national championships back to back, and Tommy Frazier and all this stuff. So he's been waiting for these days to come back, and he was so excited to see. And look, what better test than this coming week? They got Colorado. So
under the lights, yep.
Exactly. So both of these two teams that are definitely looking to see if they can, take that next step. I'm so excited to see. Ben, what's going on? He said as long as Nebraska does, they should be fine. Yeah, well, yeah.
Or the Sims family. Either Jeff Sims was awful.
Oh my goodness. I feel for the guy. The guy used to be at Georgia Tech. He's transferred of it. He can't seem to get it. Yeah. I don't ever advocate for anybody to switch from quarterback to another position, but quarterback ain't fitting here.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. But look, let's keep going. Let's talk about some of these quarterbacks that transferred out. Arkansas's old quarterback went to UCF. They killed New Hampshire 57-3.
Yeah.
Ohio State's old quarterback, Kyle McCord, leaves the Big Ten and comes to the ACC. Thank you very much.
Forced out of Ohio State. Forced out of Columbus.
To come to the ACC and dominate in Syracuse as they went 38-20. Throws for 354 yards, 4 TDs. Guy balls out, man. I mean, look. The coach was on there saying, I need to send Ryan Day a bottle of champagne for how good this guy is. We knew the talent. We knew how good he can be. What is this going to do for a Syracuse program now?
I mean, this is another team where it's been a solid roster around them, but the quarterback play just hasn't been there.
Yeah.
This is a guy that's played in some of the biggest games. In McCord. I was like, his name just left my mind. McCord's been on the biggest stages of college football. So you get a guy like that's been there, done that, and he can come to Syracuse and kind of be like, let me lead you. Mm-hmm. I think this is the perfect spot for him. I think while he was on those biggest stages, I thought the lights were a little too bright for him at that level last year. But I think he fits in really well with Syracuse and what they're trying to do. And this is the team that, I mean, you look at every year, they start off like 3-0, 4-0, and then they kind of tank because then they got to play real football. You've got a quarterback that's used to playing real football now. I think they might kind of start to take some of those games away now. And Syracuse is going to be a dangerous program this year.
And you look at them, and then and especially in lieu of the recent weekend, Florida State struggles, Clemson struggles. So you got DJ struggling, you got Klubnik struggling, Max Johnson obviously gets hurt. I mean, Kyle McCord is slowly. I mean, he's rising up the list of the best quarterbacks in the ACC now, and we didn't have.
He's number 2.
Right. So I mean, this, especially with those teams kind of losing, and we'll see what happens to Florida State tonight. Sorry about that, Ben. But no, is the answer to this question.
I think they beat the brakes off Boston College tonight. They better. Hey, that's all I'm saying.
And hopefully, but now, mind you, last year they struggled with Boston College. They beat them 31-29 late because Boston College had that penalty. And Castellanos, that quarterback for Boston College, is no slouch. He's a dual threat guy. And if he gets on the edge, definitely watch out. Miller Mozzie, Cam Ward.
I'm throwing Diego Pavia right in there.
I was about to say, we got Devin Dampierre too. I think we might have some people that could compete with that. But I like what you're saying. Appreciate you watching it. But no, absolutely, man. I definitely loved seeing that. A couple of the games, Northwestern had to play on their, I believe, practice field, which is right next to
the soccer field.
Was it on the soccer field?
I think so.
Yeah, which was right next to the water. I mean,
right on the water there.
That was beautiful view there. I mean, come on now. They're getting the W over Miami of Ohio, 13-6. Boise State destroys. Not destroys. It was a shootout, 56-45 over Georgia Southern. Loved every minute of it. I'm going to talk about one of their running backs, but let's real quick before we go to our game balls. Can we talk about Arizona real quick? That's it. Oh
yeah, please. Let's do that. Oh. I froze there for a second. My bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because look, that game, I did too. Yeah. So, are we back? We good?
Yeah, I think so.
Arizona putting up 61 against New Mexico. Alec was talking about it earlier. McMillan just went off 304 yards, 10 receptions. Fafita, 422 yards. Alex, we talked about Fafita. We talked about McMillan last year.
Yeah.
Both of them could have taken so much money to go elsewhere, decided to stay and come to Arizona.
And the coach left too.
Right. So we've seen what they did. And I New Mexico is 0-2. And they lost after being up last week. They lost after this game to a team that I think was a lot better than them.
Yeah.
What is this for Arizona? Like, how good can Arizona be this year?
If I'm not mistaken, I have them in the Big 12 title game this year.
Ooh.
From doing my predictions earlier. I really like what Arizona is doing. They started the season ranked 21st. That was too low. To me, this is a team that should have been borderline top 10. You've got Fafita, who went toe-to-toe with Caleb Williams last year in LA. Was one of the best quarterbacks in college football last year. First game goes toe-to-toe with him. McMillan is unreal. He's so good. And then, I can't leave out the running back either. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt was 13 carries, 106 yards, and a touchdown. So, this offense is so insanely good. And it's a veteran offensive line, which, as you've heard from the conversations tonight, if you've been watching the whole time, few and far between this year from these top teams. So, Arizona having one is a huge bonus. They got to figure out the defense. To me, there's no way New Mexico should be putting up 39 points on you. But this offense, this team's going to go as far as this offense takes them. Because Fafita, McMillan, Krosky-Merritt, that O-line, this is a team that's going to be dangerous for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Been saying, Bronco Mendenhall wishes he was back in Virginia right now. Bob Davie couldn't even make New Mexico a decent football program. Mendenhall has his hands full. He does, but we know Mendenhall is able to change teams around. We know what he was able to do in Virginia. And I'm going to be honest. So I totally agree that, this should not have been a game. Arizona should have been better, but I don't want us to sleep on that New Mexico team. Devin Dampier is a solid quarterback, especially in that offense. I shared something a week ago where he had that unbelievable fake where he just fakes and just sat there for a second and nobody in the country knew he had it, and then takes off on that 20 or 30 yard QB bootleg. The guy can play in this game, having over 260 yards in the pass and then also 130 yards on the ground. He is that offense. And for a while, it was back and forth. It was toe-to-toe. Until McMillan started really taking off. So, look, New Mexico. But New Mexico, I think they're kind of on the verge. A couple more pieces and a couple things to go their way. Obviously, that first week, I think it was North Dakota State. It was
It was an FCS team. I know that.
Right. That they ended Montana State, who again in FCS is one of those teams that goes to the playoffs pretty consistently. So there's no sleepers, but they have definitely came back on him. But look, I'm interested to see if New Mexico can turn around, because I think they have a good team. At least I'm down for their quarterback.
Well, you look at it. Props to the Mountain West Conference this week.
Yeah.
Boise State playing that well. UNLV beating the brakes off of Houston.
Right.
Fresno State going toe-to-toe with Michigan for 3 quarters. There were some amazing performances across this conference this past week. Phenomenal job by the Mountain West Conference, and showing why the CFP committee put in that spot for the Group of 5 champion, the highest ranked one, because I personally think it's going to be from the Mountain West.
Yeah.
I really think it's whoever wins that conference is in, because Liberty's got too easy of a schedule where if they fall off once, they're toast.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's just how many good teams there are in the Mountain West I think if you've got a team like Boise State or Fresno State or UNLV or whatever that goes 10-2, 11-1, maybe even runs the table in that conference, I think that's your 12th seed and who gets in.
Yeah, man. And look, these guys can play out here. As we've seen, they can definitely score points. We'll see, with the defense. But, hey, into this, I think Barry Odom was finally the guy to make UNLV football relevant again.
He's doing a great job there.
Exactly. We see what he did this past weekend. And I, to your point, I fully agree with this, man. I love it. I love the resurgence of these teams that had been kind of down for a couple years, and now it's starting to bring back up and really challenge some of these top tier squads.
Yeah.
So
definitely, it is dangerous to play a Mountain West Conference school. It is pure danger. You're on upset alert the week they're on your schedule.
Oh yeah.
Like you said, I have Oregon winning the national championship this year, and it's a dangerous game to play Boise State this week.
Yes, because that's one of those teams, and we're going to definitely discuss that.
College Football Update with your host, Sean Spencer and Alex Loosemore.